The Conversation Motivational Hour with your host, Minister Seon Rodney. The Conversation. Thank you for watching The Conversation Motivational Hour. We love you and cannot wait to see you in person.
It's probably too late now. I don't worry about that much. I'm happy anyhow. Yes, I am. As I go along, like join me. Better than a soul. I'm drinking from my saucer. Cause my cup has overflowed. And I gotta let it reach. Sometimes you go in get right. But I've gotta thank you, Jesus. Yes, I have. That makes me rich enough. Welcome to the Conversation Motivational Hour, affiliate of the Conversation Motivational Sipping Chat, affiliate of the Conversation Motivational Date Night with SGGR and team. You are welcome to our village, you're welcome to our tribe, you're welcome to our community. And the mercies hit the share button, share and invite all the Gen Zs and millennials. They're grown and sexy. Hit the share button, share and invite all the social media group, your social media platform, your WhatsApp, your Messenger, your email, even text a friend, tell a friend, let them know that the Conversation Motivational Hour is on, which is affiliate of the Conversation Motivational Sip and Chat from Monday to Friday. And not forgetting our Conversation Motivational Date Night with SGGR and team. Now remember, there are times when things go wrong and they're hard and they're difficult. Here's the conversation. It's along the jammers tonight. The millennials, the Gen Zs, they're grown and sexy. Welcome to our tribe, welcome to our village, welcome to our community, to the August body called The Conversation, where there's a seat reserved for you. May say, SGGR, why is there a seat reserved for me? Why is there? My name is on the menu board. I'm glad you asked. The seat is reserved for the broken, the undervalued, the less fortunate, the marginalized. Those are some from low self-esteem, those who feel like are underachiever, those who feel that they have no worth, no value, those are suffering from inferiority complex. I want to tell you, the Conversation community and village and the tribe is there for you. That's why your seat is reserved for you. SGGR is glad to come in the gutters, come in the trenches, and to come in your ecosystem. I'm glad to come in your narrative. I'm glad to come in your monosapharandai. I'm glad to come in your lexicon. I'm glad to be wherever you are, where you're feeling broken, you feel lonely, you feel rejected, you feel an underachiever, you feel worthless, you feel like a handicap. I want to let you know you feel buried alive. Oh, SGG, I'm glad to be wherever you are. I want to let you know I'm under the bridge with you, I'm in the gutters, I'm in the churches with you, I'm in your ecosystem, I'm in your lexicon, I'm in your monosapharanda, I'm in your narrative, I'm in your construct, but most so I am in your negativity. But when I tell you, the community and the village and the tribe of the conversation, I want to let you know where the seat is reserved for you. We fortify you, we strengthen you, we encourage you. We are here to make sure you become whole. Make sure you be, oh yes, you laughing over crying. We make sure that you are strengthened over your weakness. We make sure your comeback is greater than your setback. That's what happened in the conversation and the conversation family, where we are a tribe, a village, and a community. Welcome to our tribe, our village, our community. As you come with the Mawara and Barbies, Caribbean Island, Caribbean country, South America, North America, Latin America, continent of Asia, and Africa. Despite of your ethnicity, despite of your color, despite of your creed. Oh yes, despite the side of the divide, you find yourself a critical thinker or emergency. I want to let you know, or a casual thinker, there's a place for you in our tribe, our village, and our community that is called the Conversation Family, the August Body, where we do not raise followers, we raise leaders. Welcome to our community, our tribe, and our village of the conversation. Allness, big Allness, small Allness, Alveston, Manchester, Liverpool, Lancaster, Wimbledon, Kenny, Broomfield, Port Maranta. Welcome, Georgetown. I'm telling you, oh yes, West Rungveld, North Rungveld. I'm talking about Isla Penitence. I'm talking about Kitty. Oh yes, I'm talking about Linden. I'm talking about Yapali. I'm talking about Amelia's Ward. Oh yes, I'm talking about Trinidad. I'm talking about Puna. Oh yes, I'm talking about St. James. I'm talking about Laventel and Digger Martin. What about Jamaica? St. Mary's, big up yourself. St. Martin, Antigua, Belize, Guatemala, Sierra Leone, Africa, Ghana, Uganda, India, and all of the America, South America, North America, and Central America. The conversation, village and tribe and community, we form a serenity of brother and sisterhood. We provide a safety net for each other. We don't rejoice in your failure. We don't rejoice in your setback. We don't rejoice because you lost your light, you lost your salt, and you lost your rhythm. We are here to encourage you. If you're teary, that we will not cause you more tears. If you're fragmented, we're not going to cause you more brokenness. I want to tell you, if you're on the ground, we're not going to dig a hole to put you in. We're not going to rejoice because I want to let you know you need us and we need you. Oh yes, what you have I need, and what I have you need. Together we all, together we can, together we're going to bring it home. We are here for the suicide, we're here for the marginalized, we're here for the depressed and the suppressed. We are there for the lonely, and I said lonely, don't have a mother around, don't have a father around, don't have a brother around, don't have a sister around, the niece. You feel that you're alone in this wide universe. You are connected to the village and the tribe and the community of the conversation. This August body. Happy birthday to all those who celebrate a birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy anniversary to all those who celebrate an anniversary. Happy anniversary month to you. Congratulations to those who bring a bottle of joy into this world. Congratulations. Oh yes, to those who passed that examination. We embrace that great mantra that says, the height that great man met, the height that great man attained, didn't come by sudden flight, but while my companion slept, I kept toiling through the night. Congratulations to those who purchased a new home, we purchased a new car. You were remiss of me not to say I was sympathy and empathy go to those who have lost a loved one in this time of bereavement. Yahweh Mashiach will comfort your heart. Our prayers are there with you. We rejoice with you, and also we mourn with you. Our topic tonight in the already mode with the SGGR is the debriefer, coming up shortly. Coming up shortly is the topic, the debriefer. We all have to do debriefing without knowing that we are doing debriefing. We all have an aspect to be a debriefer, because along this life that we all are sojourning, we will have people that needed to be confronted in situations and circumstances that they faces. We are talking about debriefing an escalating situation or circumstances. We are talking about debriefing abuse, relationship with the abuser, and so on. We're thinking about people who committed crime and think that they are right when they are wrong. We're going to deal with the debriefing in not too long distant future from now with SGGR. As I open my mouth for the Lord, feed me, I'm going to feed you. And as you open, knowledge and wisdom will come your way. The Conversation Tribe Community and Village, we have a mantra, we have a culture, we have a brand, and it's simply value. We help you to up the ante in your value, let you know that you have worth, let you know that you have something to bring to the table. You may say I don't have dollars and say I don't have money in the bank. My bank account is not lit, no great things happening in my bank account. Yes, you have something that you can bring to the discussion tonight. You may not be a great of intelligence, but your smile is worth it. Oh yes, your laughter is worth it. Oh yes, your courage and your tenacity. Oh yes, the fortitude of strength is worth it. You have something to bring. Your walk of confidence. Tonight you can be the rainbow in someone's sky. Your laughter can be an antidote to someone who's going through pain. Your smile can be radiant upon someone's face like the mirror, that they can see themselves, that once again they can muster courage to smile in themselves again. We all have something to bring to the village and the community and the tribe. The debriefer. Long life journey. When in the penthouse under the bridge, when you have money, don't have money, when you have a job, don't have a job, or a platform, don't have a platform, when you're intelligent or you didn't finish school, I want to let you know there's a place for you in the Conversation Tribe and Village and community. Use flash, use break, you're smart, you're pretty, you're intelligent, you're handsome, you have a skill set. Yes, you're smart enough, you're pretty enough, you're handsome enough, you're beautiful enough. Your smiles that matter, your laugh that matters, your walk that matters. That makes me rich enough. Yes, the millennials, the Gen Zs, the grown and sexy now are welcome to the community, the tribe, and the village of the Conversation Motivational Hour, which is affiliate of the Conversation Motivational Sip and Chat and affiliate of the Conversational Motivational Date Night. Please don't stood me up. Don't forget tomorrow night is our date night with SGGR and team. I have Crystal Dundas, which is my co-host out of New York City. I have Dwayne Dyer out of Canada, and I have Jay Vision out of Alabama. Please don't start up FGGR tomorrow night. We have a date with purpose. We have a date with destiny. Our topic tonight is the debriefer.
Now remember, there are times when things go wrong and they are hard and they are difficult. Faith sometimes works thin. That faith.
The debriefer is our topic tonight. Once again, welcome to our tribe, welcome to our village, welcome to our community of the Conversation Motivational Hour, the Conversation Motivational Sip and Chat, the Conversation Motivational Date Night with SGGR. There's a seat reserved for you in the conversation. You may ask yourself, why is a seat reserved for me? The conversation is catered with the seat with your name on it. It's for the broken, the undervalued, the marginalized, the rejected. I want to tell you, those people that have no worth, they have no value, they have nothing to bring to the table. You feel that you are suicidal, you're in domestic violence relationship, you feel that you're handicapped, you feel that you're buried alive. I want to tell you, there's a place for you on the Conversation Motivational platform. Oh yes, this August body, we want to tell you, we help you to be strengthened, we help you to be fortified, we help you to be encouraged. Oh yes, we are here to make sure that we're there for you. Oh yes, not to be a critic, not to be a judge and a jury, not to criticize you because you're crying, causing more tears, not because you're broken, causing to be more fragmented, not because you're on the ground, we dig a hole to put you on. The conversation, we form a serenity, a brother and sisterhood. You You are in our prayers. You are in our encouragement. And we pray and we think about you. You are in our thoughts. And that's why this morning, tonight, whatever is your time zone around the world, with humble and simplicity nature of who I am as GGR, I'm glad to say thou art welcome. Our topic tonight is the debriefer. The debriefer must be able to win from the victim. In a situation where someone is the victim of suicide, or the victim of domestic violence, or a victim of some sort that they have suffered a long life and a long journey that is critical for a moment, and here you are there now doing debriefing. The briefing meaning, or the debriefer, is the person who is coming to stabilize, normalize the situation and make sure that you bring calm and you bring stability and you bring the best outcome that they can be in the situation and the circumstances they to bear. Sometimes we've been doing it and not understanding that's what really is we're doing. We are debriefing. And sometimes we don't understand that we may have the call, or we may have the patience, and we may have the skill set of a debriefer. But tonight we're going to break it up, we're going to chop it up, and we're going to let you understand that as a debriefer, the skill set you need to walk in, and the language you need to know, and the tone you need to maintain, and how you can be able to articulate. And knowing now that you are doing debriefing, some of you tonight will understand for most of your life, and some of you will understand that you are a debriefer without knowing that you can continue walking in that skill set that God has helped you to be. And you may say, you know, I am the fixer of my family, I'm the fixer in the classroom, I'm the fixer in campus, I'm the fixer in my neighborhood, not knowing that you are the debriefer and you are doing debriefing. But tonight we're going to understand, with knowledge being presented, that we are debriefer in some way, some sort, or some fashion, and we are doing debriefing. With that being said, the debriefer must be able to win from the victim. You must be able to win from the victim. So when you show up on the scene, first you have to know and itemize who is the victim. The victim may so be your family member. It may be a colleague, may be your best friend, may be your financier, may be your study partner, or may be an enabler or some startup, some fashion. And because there is a measure of connection and so on. But you need to understand, when you understand the victim, you have to, in your mind, diffuse the connection and diffuse the hormones and diffuse the alignment and so on. You have to deal with that person as the victim. Maybe your son also, maybe your daughter, maybe your niece, maybe your nephew, maybe your uncle, maybe your auntie, maybe your boss. But in your mind, you have to forget about the connection, and you will be there to do debriefing. And you are there are the debriefer, and you have to itemize and find out the victim. When you find out the victim in your mind, you have to win the victim over and make sure that you can cause the best outcome and success there is to come in that situation. So number one, the victim was able to gain your trust. You see, sometimes because we understand, because of relationship and so on, people may not gain our trust because they know they're going to, from the onset, when you present yourself as the debriefer, and because of relationship, they already feel that you're going to take some sides, you're going to be on their side because of the connective tissues, because you're interwoven with each other in feelings and so on, and because of whatever you guys have done together and so on, and relationship and so on, maybe family, maybe relative or colleague, whatever, they already know you're going to take their side. But as a debriefer, doing debriefing, you cannot let your feelings be involved. So you have to win the trust of the victim that you will be neutral. So gain the trust that you will be fair. Gain the trust that you will be impartial in debriefing the situation, being the debriefer. Number two, gain the confidence. They have to gain your confidence. So the victim have to gain your confidence. Then your involvement. Your involvement have to come from a neutral place. You're not getting involved, but you're taking sides. Again, as I said, not because of the relationship, but they have to gain your involvement, that you will be fair for both the victim and the person who caused the victim to be a victim. Be empathetic and not judgmental. Non-judgmental listener. So you're not there to judge. You are there to debrief. You're there to bring this. You are like the firefighter then. Another way, but not in other terms to put it. You are the firefighter. You are there to calm the situation out the fire. Make sure there is no flame. Make sure there is no smoke. Make sure the situation is neutralized. So you are not there now to be judgmental. You got to be non-judgmental. You can't judge and then the victim and the person who caused the person to be victim, the listener now, recognizing that what? You don't have trust. You don't have confidence, your involvement is impartial. So you got to be impartial. You have to be impartial. You have to gain trust. You have to gain confidence, and you got to be non-judgmental. Then you have to reassure the victim that the feelings are normal response to the abnormal circumstances. In the abnormal circumstance, you have to assure them. You have to bring the reassurance to the victim that the feelings are normal response to the abnormal circumstances. It's okay to let the victim know. It's okay to cry. It's okay to make sure you're up and rolling in your anger. It's okay to shake and to have different body composure and so on. But you got to reassure the victim that their feelings are normal. It's okay for them to start passing liquid and so on and so forth on themselves and so on. So these are things that the debriefer have to do when you're doing debriefing. As a peer counselor, that is also debriefing. Remember, I said in the preambles about the classroom, your workplace, your neighbor, and so the different sphere of debriefer doing debriefing. Be aware of the mindset of the victim. You have to be aware of the mindset of the victim. Remember, you are there to de-escalate a situation. You are there to bring normalcy to a situation that can get out of control, where it can involve a loss of life, can involve wounding, further wounding of each other. There's so much can happen when a situation is out of control, when a situation getting escalating and getting heated, and you are the debriefer in the middle of that situation. You also can be hurt. You also can be drafted into it, all the wisdom and the analyzing the temperature and the mood and the climate of the environment that you place yourself in, doing debriefing and to deal with being the debriefer there. So you have to be aware of the mindset of the victim. Be aware this victim is raging. You have to know now, how can I bring this victim from a 10 to 0? How can I cause this victim to calm down? How can I cause this victim to be sidetracked from the agenda and the intent to retaliate? So you have to know the mindset of the victim. Then identify the personality of the victim. So now you got to know the personality, identity. All this you have to do while you were there. You can't go on left and go and do research and then come back, or call the mother, or call the father, or call auntie, mother, children, whatever. You who now has the debriefer, this is your role and your responsibility in doing the debriefing. So you have to identify the personality of the victim. All this you have to do on the spot of the incident that you interject or interwoven yourself into, or insulate yourself into, to be the debriefer and doing debriefing while the police is on the way, or while the law enforcement is on the way, or child protective services is on the way, or whatever that is on the way to take over from that moment when you're going to hand over it into their hands. But you have to know the personality of the victim. It's in the important issue, learn to ask the right question. You don't just ask question because you can ask question, because you are in control of the moment. Because when you're in control of the moment and you just asking question from thin air, or just asking question because you want to ask question, you can cause further damage, trauma, hurt. You can escalate the situation of retaliation and so on. So you have to ask the right question. Learn to listen. Not because you are there, you're asking the right question, but you start like you're having a question here, a question and question and question and question. You have to make sure you have to listen after every question being asked. Talk it out. The victim is to be the talker, not you. You ask the question, you listen, and allow the victim to talk. Because when the victim is talking, you are understanding the personality. As we said just a few seconds went by, you're understanding the personality. You're understanding the mindset. So the victim have to talk so you can understand the mindset. You can understand the personality. So let the victim talk. Talk it out. The debriefer is to be the listener. You have to listen so you can analyze the situation and then come to a conclusion with yourself. What is your next move? Then you have to now take adaptive attitude. What must I adapt here now? What must I adapt to? Then if you help others to calm the self-esteem, so you help that victim to calm the self-esteem, because the esteem may be in the way of you de-escalating the situation, for you diffusing that situation, for you calm that victim down. Remember, your aim and the outcome is to get that victim now from 10 to 0. Right? So you have to calm that esteem, because the esteem may be in the way of the victim. Then you have a need to be needed. So the victim now recognize, when you go through all of these steps and all of these things, that they recognize now that you is well needed. You are well needed, because now as you bringing down the adrenaline and the epiphyseal, and you bringing down the mood and the anger and everything, you bringing it down, and it's gradually coming down from the victim. They recognize now that you are well needed. Learn to cope with anger. Remember, you are the debriefer. You are doing the debriefing. You cannot respond with your anger in the midst of you debriefing, and you are the debriefer. Now you are causing now a situation out of control, taking different variation with the victim and the person who caused the person to be a victim, and you cause the situation to take different variants and different direction, because now you cannot control your anger. So you have to control your anger. You have to learn to cope with anger. Identify the source. You got to identify the source. I remember when I was doing these studies, I was asked to ask a question. How do the police, or the law enforcement, I should say, the very arms of law enforcement, how do they solve problems when they are greater in groupings? And the answer I get back, because I was never a law enforcement. I did security, but I never been a part of the law enforcement. I do private security for a little bit. But they said you look for the ringleader. And once you can capture the ringleader, the main person that everybody around the rest they shoulder upon, problems is easily to be solved. So you have to identify the source. Who is the main source of this problem? Who is the main cause of this problem? When you identify the source, you are able now to deal with the source. Anger is not always evil. So it's important, as I said, asking questions and asking the right questions, because sometimes you can look as I'm talking to the person and talking on the person, oh, you are there in this situation, this circumstances because of your anger, and you need to go to anger management. The person want to able anger management. They don't want to know. They know that they have an anger and temper. So you're not there to tell them about the anger and the temper and the anger management and who you know and some institution down the street and who is got a degree and who is a doctorate in anger management and so forth, and anger management hotline. The person don't need that. Your job is to bring that thing down to 0. So you don't let a person use it from the standpoint that anger is not always evil. So don't use it as an evil thing because they're outraged and they're angry and they want to get back and they want to bring that equilibrium. They want to make sure that they inflict back the wound and the pain and so on. And they may not have even the strength to go to fight back. They may not have the proper defense mechanism. That's why you were there. Responsibility of guilt. People will often want to take the blame for the incident. You don't have to take the blame for the incident. Sometimes we try to insert ourselves, insulate ourselves, and then we try to do like if we were there from the inception. And sometimes we were there from the inception, we want to say like, I am the reason that this thing happened. Or you want to say you are the reason that the thing happened. You don't have to take the blame. And you should not want to take the blame for the situation or the circumstance, because you are there basically to do debriefing. You are there to as the debriefer. You're there to bring that problem down from 10 to 0. That's the outcome. Point blank, finito, nada, zero, zip. It's all to bring out the flame, out the fire, until the law enforcement or the right channel, the right agency arrive. The police, the soldier, or the child protective service, or whoever it is. But you are there to normalize the situation and make sure that you can point them in the shortest possible time when they arrive, understanding the tone, understanding all of this. So you are not there to do anything other than to bring this thing from 10 to 0. All right? So you don't have to try to take the blame and all of that, because you're not doing any good to the situation, the tone, the mood, the climate, and the atmosphere. Understanding that we don't always have to control over circumstances of a critical incident. You don't always have the total control. You're not looking for the total control. You're concentrating on the victim and bringing the victim down from 10 to 0. You're there to de-escalate. You're there to out the fire. You're how to make sure you bring everything under control. You must bring the trust. You must bring the confidence. You must involve. Make sure you involve. You must be non-judgmental. Listen. You must be resource to the victim and so on, the feeling. You must be aware of the mindset of the victim, identify the responsibility of the victim. Learn to ask the right question. Learn to listen. The victim must be able to be a talker. The debriefer must be a listener. Must be able to listen. Then take the adaptive attitude. If you help others to calm self-esteem, then you have to have a need to be needed. So make sure they know that you are needed. Then you make sure that you cope with the anger, identify the source. Anger is not always evil. So you don't attack the victim now, saying that because of the anger and so on, and from that standpoint, make them be what they want to be. Responsibility of guilt now. The people may often want to think that the blame is for the incident. You don't have to take the blame. Understand that we don't always have control over the circumstances of the critical incident. You don't have to take 100% control. Bring the thing down to 0. Second guessing. You don't have to second guess yourself in the midst of debriefing. And you be there to debrief for your second guess. I should not have been here. I don't know why I come. I don't know why you called me. You should have called Tom, Dick, Harry, or Jane. You should call X or call Y. You see, right there, you have lost all the effort. You have lost all the time. Everything, the steps and the process you have put into it, you have lost it all. Because now you're second guessing your presence. You're second guessing all that you have done and what happened. You make the victim now to create back an atmosphere for retaliation, an atmosphere to go in and not have the strength to fight. They may not have the courage to fight. They may not have the defense mechanism, and you put all back from right where you have started. So you don't have to second guess yourself. Know that this is a part of our nature. It's nature of people in certain situations and certain circumstances. There are certain things going to come from them, but you cannot at that moment second guessing yourself. You got to maintain your positivity, maintain your composure, maintain your stand, maintain that you are needed, maintain that you are here to bring it down, and that is all must happen. It must come down. So you keep your eyes on the victim until the right source arrives. So, tonight, I want us to understand that we all have roles to play. Some of us are playing these roles, but without understanding the techniques to incorporate the role that we are playing. And some of us, we get hurt in the midst of playing these roles because we were not strapped with the technique to protect ourselves as the debriefer, and we don't know how to do the debriefing. But tonight I want us to understand that we all have a role to play. We all are important to each other. We all are vital to each other. And it's a paramount important that we take the stand to make sure that suicide come down, domestic violence come down. We take a stance against mental health. We take a stand against abuser. We take a stand against human trafficking. We take a stand against injustice. So we have to understand, if we have to insulate ourselves, if we have to interwoven, intersunk, and to be a part of, we have to know what requires for us and what we are doing, and understand how we can be best doing what we should be doing, how we can be best equipped. And for those who came in late tonight in the oration with no other than SGGR, yours truly, we're dealing tonight with the debriefer. The debriefer is the person who arrived on the scene, hallelujah, to make sure that they take control of the atmosphere, the climate, and the temperature. They take control of the victim. Because a victim is a victim because they become a victim because they are the wrong side of the stick. There's the one probably who shot. They're the one that was wounded by a knife. There's a one that was slapped, the one that was kicked, the one that put in handcuff, or the one that were in chain, or the one that was beaten, or the one that was hit down by a car or by a motorist or whatever. So you are there to deal more so with the victim. So we're dealing tonight with the debriefer and debriefing. Debriefer is the person, and the tactic is the debrief in, the contents, the content and the condensation and the methodology that you are meted out to the person who suffer on whatever side of the situation or the circumstances that they are suffering. So we have to be equipped with this understanding, loading down in our lexicon how to do what and when to do what and what should be done. Because these are things sometimes you say, SGGR, I don't really care about what you're saying. But you will certainly be care when it hit home to your family, it hit home to your neighbor, it hit home to your community, it hit home to someone that you love in your job, in the parking lot of your job, or in the office of your job, or in the cubicle that you work. So you will need it. You know, because sometimes we don't measure care and concern unless it hit home. And when it hit home, then you want people to be care and concerned for you. This morning, I was having a conversation with a young lady, and I was dealing with success. And I was helping her to understand we are not successful not because of God. We are not successful because of ourselves. We have to put ourselves in a position where everything have to respond. Nature have to respond. Condition have to respond. They have no choice. If you put yourself to be unified where there is authentic unity, unity will bring success because it have no choice and have to respond. If we put ourselves with confidence, it have no choice that it has to respond. We put ourselves in helping with authentic help. Nothing can stop the response of success. Like a fire. If everybody in the community farm bucket brigade, what they do, they put their mind, their effort, and all have to respond is that the fire will come to a finality. The fire will come to seizure because there is a collective and it have no other choice than to respond. If we look out for each other, crime rate in your community is going to come down. If we look when we see a nefarious activity of a car that belongs to the neighborhood, everybody hides out. When we see guys traversing in the neighborhood who do not belong to the neighborhood, I'm telling you, because we connect ourselves and we intersect and interwoven with our community and we make it our paramount interest, it have no choice than to respond that crime rate is going to come down. Everyone going to go up with one voice of alarm for each other. I'm telling you, when when we are in the collective, it have no other choice than to respond. You were talking about financial empowerment and financial literacy. You have to be in an environment where everyone wants to be financially free, where everyone in the collective said we're going to save more than spend and spend less. Oh yes, we're going to make sure we be there and barter within each other. I'm going to tell you, no long distance possible time. Everybody will be financially free. Everybody going to walk in financial literacy. But I want to tell you, we have to put ourselves in the position that success can be when the ground have no other choice than to respond. Case in point is like the Tower of Babel. You think God just want to confuse them because he want to confuse them? God recognized I have no choice than confuse them, because these people, according to the word of God, they were in one mind. They were in one purpose, and it had no other choice than to respond. They were elevating closer to heaven. We are responsible for success. We are responsible for the outcome, and make things have no other choice than to respond. Churches have no choice than to respond when they want success, when the pulpit is in sync, in unity with the congregation, and the congregation in sync with the pulpit, and they are all interwoven, they all networking together, they all support each other. And I want to tell you, there are other choice that success. There's no other choice that money gonna flow, no other choice that we're gonna gain the edifices, there's no other choice that membership gonna grow. But there's got to be a ground that things will have no other choice than to respond. The cloud have no other choice than to respond when it is full with water that we have rain. The water have no choice to say, I will not be in the process of evaporation. When the heat penetrates the water, it have no choice, it have to respond. Precipitation have no choice. They say, I don't want condensation to take place. It have to be condensation. When we are unified, success have no choice than to respond. When we form that one mind, that one effort, when we form that one team, it have no other way than to respond. When we pull our resources together authentically for the same common purpose, it have no other choice than to respond. God have no other choice than to give you your free will. You think he don't want to take away the free will from you, but he have no choice. He have to respond to allow you to your free will. Because from the onset, before man fail, he make you a free moral agent. So at the fall of man, he can't take back the free will from you. He give you the power to choose. He had no choice than to respond to your free will. Even though you see you going down a dark hole, a spiral, you see you going into the crowd, whether it's going to a lost eternity, he can do anything, come and hold you by your shirt back, hold you by your pants, and pull you back. He cannot do that. And if the Almighty God have no chance than to respond to your free will that he has given to you and you are exercising, what about we meet the condition for the free will? To use it where it is needed. That the response is the breeding ground for success. And when you use this in the undertone, in the debriefing and being the debriefer, it have the situation of no other choice than to respond. You will have the outcome that you need without taking side, without allowing your feelings, without allowing the relationship in the midst of the situation. You certainly will bring it down from 10 to 0, to zip, to nada, to finito. We make sure we exercise that ground for what we want. Sadly to say, sometimes it's you for you and me for me. And I am here not minding my own business. I don't care about you. And you is to you. But when you need me, I need. This is not the ground for success. We get trickling and we think we are big. We get trickling and we think we arrive. We get trickling and we think this is it. I don't need you. You don't need me. Or it's all about me, myself, and I. It's all about me. Wow, 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 wow. And there's no breeding ground for success. Nothing is responding. The Bible says two or not shall touch anything. I'm telling you, when two or not in a total agreement, heaven have no response, no choice than to respond. As touching anything, it shall be done. It have to be done. There is no other choice when two shall agree. When two, my God, one shall chase 1,000. You know whether you alone chase 1,000? Because when in your mind is agreeing with your spirit, and your spirit agree with your body, it have no choice that 1,000 have to flee. More so when two chase 10,000. We have to come to the place to make sure that we are in the driving seat. We are in the compelling atmosphere. We are in the demanding atmosphere, because God has given us power to get wealth. He has caused us to be the speaking power, that you speak to the mountain, it shall be removed. You speak to the sick, they shall be healed. You speak to the demons in the name of Jesus, they shall be cast out. We need to understand that we have to use the power that God has given to us. That not God give us the power, we give him back to him and going every day for pieces of the power that he gives to us. God is not our errand boy. God is not our sugar daddy. God is not our pimp master. He is giving it to you. Use it, and use it well, that you can be crowned with success and the jewels on this earth, and not waiting for you talking about walking on streets of gold. He gave us the power to get well. He gave us what it takes to enjoy life. He gave us what it takes that poverty will not be a part of our name. He didn't call us to be in the beggarly element of this earth, begging alms. He didn't call us to be low down and walking our head down and so on. But because of the undertones of our environment, our atmosphere, our culture, where we find ourselves, who's speaking in our environment, who's speaking into our life, the doings and the dictates of the peoples around us. Success can never be on either side of the equation. For math, you have to be on the right side, left side, and get an equal sign. We are sometimes are part and parcels of where we are, affecting where we are going, because we do not force the hands of heaven. We do not force the hands of nature. We do not force the response of mentality to make sure that we can be on the side that God wants us to be. We can only be successful when we force everything to respond. The crowd had no choice to respond to Jesus, because Jesus exercised equilibrium with his disciples. He exercised his leadership with his disciples, and the crowd have no other choice than to respond. When as collective, I support you, you support me. We are setting up ourselves for success. You have a business, I have a business. I support your business, you support my business. We're not quarreling over $10, $5, $20. We can go to Dubai for breakfast. It's everybody's business oriented in the community. They want to tell you that community can be the richest community. President College is not President College by name. President College because a few people went to the college and become president. So the community have no choice than to respond. You want to go and to be identified with the hierarchy of learning and becoming a president, you go to President College. It's a wooden building like any other wooden structure. But we have to create the atmosphere for success. I cannot be too big to let the world see I'm helping you. You cannot too big for the world to see for you to help me. I'm coming like Nicodemus by night. And Nicodemus had to be exposed to the crowd. And when he responded and said, Jesus, in the crowd, because he want to come by night. There's no seeking, hiding, backdoor discussion, and you want to talking about success in the forefront. And when Jesus heard the voice of Nicodemus, and the crowd heard the voice of Nicodemus, Jesus had no other choice than to respond. When Zacchaeus was in his heart already, repentance in his heart and the acceptance in his heart, Jesus had no other choice than to say, look, man, I come into your house. The woman at the well, she was so longing for success that she didn't break her rhythm. She didn't break her cycle. She still go to the well at the heat of the day, and God see her determination. And he had no other choice than to respond to the longing and the longing for this woman. We have to create the atmosphere. But sometimes we try to from the standpoint of blaming people for our condition, blaming people for our circumstances, blaming people for the temperature and the climate which we find ourselves in. When sometimes we fail to be in cohesiveness and in coherence, to be in unison with each other to make sure that we create the atmosphere that even the enemy cannot penetrate us. There's sometimes some culture we have to let go. There's some teaching we have to unlearn ourselves from. More so from the Caribbean, which I am a part of. Hearing the shepherd don't get sheep and you have to go through what I go through. These are garbage. As we support each other, I'm telling you, the crowd have no other choice than to respond because they see unison, they see love, they see connectedness, they see we clapping hands, we rubbing shoulder, we doing it together, we working together, and they want to be a part of it. And Jesus rode with his disciples, he walked with the disciples, he ate with the sinners, he listens to them, he be a part of their climate and their temperature, and the multitude have no other choice than to respond. How can you respond verbally with no action? I'm supporting you, but in your on your page, you have not one of my share, one of my like. But I must have yours. Not one comment from you, but I must comment on you. And we talking about, and then we crying and we whining and we bopping and we dancing with the big boys. That cannot command the ground for success. Jesus started with 3. He went to the 12. He went to the 120. He went to the 5,000. And after that, we hear about multitude. Because the numbers had no other choice than to respond. We have to create that atmosphere that they have no other choice than to respond. They cannot penetrate love. They cannot penetrate unity. They cannot penetrate the blood of Jesus that should be the martyr that we should be in song for each other. We all born with our uniqueness. Our fingerprint is different. Your fingerprint cannot use mine. My fingerprint cannot use yours. You born to affect who you can affect. I born to affect who I can affect. So why we should get underpinnings of competition? We are supposed to complement so that nothing cannot penetrate us. There's a song along many years ago as a early Christian. We are a mighty force upon the earth. Nothing can penetrate us. The power of darkness should not penetrate us because we are creating that atmosphere. We are a mighty force. When we create the atmosphere of unity, of togetherness, we create the atmosphere. I'm involved in you, you're involved with me. We're involved together. We're going to get the best song system, the best musician, the best worshiper, the best concerts, the best business, the best building, the best congregants, the best praise, the best worship. When we support each other in each other's skill set, heaven have no other choice than to respond. God had no other choice than to disrupt the agenda of their building the Tower of Babel. He had no other choice than to confuse their language. We have to make sure that we create the environment for success. Defeat came when Adam and Eve were not in the environment, in the mindset. Eve went before, and she allowed to be beguiled by the devil. And the moment she beguiled, they become fragmented. They were out of wove, they were out of touch. They were no longer singing from the same songbook, from the same song sheet. They were different now. They had all kinds of schism entertained into their own mindset. Oh, Adam, you looking naked, Eve, you looking naked. They were no longer bypass their nakedness and enjoying the unnakedness. You know, sometimes like, I want light and you don't want light. I want AC, you don't want AC. I want heat, you don't want heat. I want money, you don't want money. I want 9 o'clock, I want 7 o'clock. You see, you need to understand that is not the ground for success. But when Jesus came, the ground was created for success. He ate with sinners. He dwelt with sinners. Even at the Lord's Supper, there was an all gathering at the table. Jesus didn't have a different bowl, a different cup, a different fork, a different spoon. He didn't dress differently from his disciples. We have to make sure we create that atmosphere for success as neighbors. Let's look out for each other asset. Let's look out for each other hard work. Let's we talk about kids. Let's look over the interests of other kids that they can also look over the interests of our kids. Let's look in the interest of our kids' trajectory and other people kids' trajectory. Look over the interest on in the locker room, on the field, in the classroom. Let's look over other children in our congregants that people will look after our children. Let me make sure we create that ground for success. Let's look over each other, man. Let's look over each other. Let's build the kingdom of heaven. That God have no other choice than to respond, and we all will be blessed. If He's blessing you, that means He's in the neighborhood, we all will be blessed. If He's healing you, He's in the neighborhood, we all will be healed. And I'm glad to know He's in the neighborhood. I'm glad to know His blessing is in the neighborhood. And you have no other choice than to go to every home, every house, every occupant of that neighborhood. Let's create that environment that we all will truly be successful. The earth have no choice than to respond to the seed that is in the ground. That we have bora, okra, cucumber, we have cabbage, we have pumpkin, and all these things. I want to tell you that the sky have no choice than to respond to let it be rain. And I want to let you know we created success. You have no other choice than to respond. We respond to being flexible. Is nothing can change the love tone and the love vibes. We have to undo and unlearn ourselves for many things, for many years that held us hostage and help us to be defeated and to be wounded. We don't want another wounded soldier die. We don't want no one else to be defeated. We don't want no one else to be broken, no one else to feel lonely, no one to be isolated, no one to feel that no one cares, no one concerned. We don't want no one to feel that this is the moment that they should commit suicide. No one to feel this is the moment that she will give up on hope. They can never be on the road to destiny. They can never be an achiever. I want to tell you that's why the tribe, the village, and the community of the conversation is all God's body is there for, to encourage you, to strengthen you, to lead you to a place that you can lead yourself. That's why we need you. You need us. We support you in your weakness, that you will support yourself and in turn support others. Jesus said to Peter, when you are fully converted, Pete, teach them. Meaning when you were a leader, Pete, teach them to lead themselves. Let's create that atmosphere, that climate, and that temperature for success. I support you, you support me. I need you, you need me. We all need each other to survive. You are important to me, and I am important to you. I'm not better than you, neither do you. I'm not greater than you, neither do you. I just have my own skill set, and certainly you have. I have my own that I was born to affect, certainly you do too. Let's bring back love and unity, care and concern, that heaven in its own have no choice to respond. God have no other choice than to respond. He responds to every other persons except us. Why? Because they works the principle that work. And because the principles that work, they are successful. And we are here salivating how we can be successful. We are over here salivating how we can be blessed. We have to work the principles that work. And the only principles that work is when we are unified, we are together singing with one voice, with one mind. We will win, we will overcome. With that being said, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your moment. I want to thank you for being a part of our tribal community in our village, the August body called The Conversation. Share and invite to your loved one, your colleague, your family, and even invite your enemy. Let they understand the breeding ground for success and how they can be successful. With that being said, I love you, but Christ loves you best. You are smart, you're intelligent, you're pretty, you're handsome. You have what it takes to be the greatest version that you can ever see of yourself. You haven't seen anything yet of SGGR. There's much more to be unfolded. There's much more to be to the fore. There's much more to come forth, because as I practice on you, God is also outloading and downloading in me. With that being said, don't forget our date night tomorrow night with SGGR and team. I want to let you know my team tomorrow night is with yours truly, SGGR, Minister Crystal Dundas, my co-host out of New York City, and Dwayne Dyer out of Canada, and J Vision out of Alabama. At the end of this song, we're going to make our segue out of here tonight. Never made a fortune. It's my victory right now. I don't worry about that much. I'm happy anyhow. Yes, I am. As I go along the journey, reaping better than I sow. I'm drinking from my source. My cup has overflowed. And I gotta let it reaches. Sometimes the going gets tough. This is our anthem of our community, our tribe, and our village, called the Conversation, the August Body. Yes, I have. That makes me rich in love. I thank God for my blessings, and the mercies He's bestowed. I'm drinking from my source. Yes, I am. 'Cause my cup is overflowed.
Now remember, there are times when things go wrong and they are hard and they are difficult. Faith sometimes rests in. But that faith will break those dark clouds and allow you to let Jesus.
Don't forget, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're pretty, you're handsome. You have a lot of purpose and destiny ahead of you. The world set the stage awaits you. You ain't see nothing yet. Prepare to sing that song that never sang before. Prepare to write that book that never write before. Get ready to evolve. Get ready to catapult. You haven't seen the best version of you yet. There is more to see coming and emanating from your life. Enough. As we endorse self-love and self-care, that you would not be a recipient of depression and mental health. May the Lord keep you and make His face to shine upon you and grant you peace from SGGR, supporters and team of this August body called the Conversation. Welcome to our tribe, our village, and our community. Because my cup has overflowed. May the blessing of the Lord overtake you. May the blessing of the Lord be with you. May the blessing of the Lord be before you, behind you, above you, beneath you. With that being said, enjoy yourself, love on yourself, celebrate yourself. Oh, self-love, self-care, and self-worth is of paramount importance that we are saying no to mental health, no to abuse, no to domestic violence, and no to suicide. God bless you.